light, what so proud with a twilight passing by, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ringing, the bombs bursting air, he proved through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, sing us the star-spangled banner yet to wave, for the land of the
Thank you, Martha. You know, all of you are here for various reasons, but I think we can all agree that the events that we saw in Atlanta, in Georgia, were horrific. And I think on behalf of all our elected officials, we all agree that we'd like to take a moment of silence to honor the 8 victims, not only in Atlanta, but around the country, who have experienced the hatred that we are fighting today. Please join me now. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to announce Winston Lee, one of the key organizers for this event. He's the president of the UCAWA here in the state of Washington. He's a key organizer, and I'd like to invite him up to say a few words. Please join me in welcoming Winston Lee.
Thank you, thank you, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you so much. We made it happen, everybody. It's you made it happen. Asia is not a virus. Discrimination is a virus. Dear Governor Lott, Mayor Robinson, and welcome guests. I'm Winston Lee, President of the United Chinese Americans in Washington. UCAWA is a chapter of a national-wide non-profit civic organization, United Chinese Americans. We are outraged by the recent increased hate crime aimed at Asian American and senseless killing of 8 people, including 6 women of Asian descent, in Georgia this past Tuesday. Today, UCAWA nationally call on Asian American communities to hold a moment of silence in honor of the innocent lives lost in Atlanta. UCAWA demands the federal government, local law enforcement agencies, and the community leaders must immediately take action to address the surge in anti-Asia crimes to ensure the safety of Asian Americans and their businesses. What happened in Atlanta has once again highlighted the plight of Asian Americans, resulting from anti-American discriminations and violences. This must stop! This must stop! This must stop! We demand and deserve a better America. An America that is safe for all its citizens. Thank you all for coming and support. Thank you.
Winston, thank you. I'd like to invite Bo Zhao, the Vice President of Seattle Chapter of HSTAA. Bo? Did the rain scare him away? We'll come to that. Bruce Yen, are you here? Bruce, representative of Seattle Chinese American Alliance, say a few words.
Thank you, Philip. We started the event preparation 2 days ago, and we got so much support from everybody. For example, the Bellevue State Police Department, Bellevue Downtown Park Office, and the Bellevue City Council. So what I would like to say that even though today is a great day, we all feel good, I want to make sure that I want to remind everybody that the fight only starts today. Today's day one. So I always joking, I work for Amazon, so day one mentality is very great. I want to use the same principle that for the civil rights fighting, the day one will also apply. So I want to make sure that today, right now we feel great, right? With everybody, we feel powerful that we can make a change. But at the same time, when we go back tonight, we think about what's happening today, we need to be ready to be fighting again tomorrow morning. And then for the next year, for the next year, until that we make a change, that we see a change in the society. Again, so thank you very much for coming. And I would like to, that as a person who came to the United States a few years ago, that I think a lot of us that having an okay life over here in the Bellevue, in the Seattle, because of our job, we're making good living. At the same time, I want to make sure that we can also be more active. Wake up, that we feel powerful again. We're going to make a change again. Thank you.
Bo, thank you. Thank you for your leadership. And I'm honored to introduce someone who really needs no introduction. Each of you knows who he is because he has probably inspired you at some point in time during your lifetime. He's been an ambassador to China. He's been a multi-term governor of the state of Washington. He's been a secretary serving the White House in Washington, D.C. And he's here to join us today in our solidarity in our fight for what is right. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable, the Governor, Gary Locke.
Thank you very much. It's really great to see so many people here despite the Pacific Northwest rain. We're here because we're concerned, angry, outraged about the continuing violence against Asian Americans and the discrimination that is existing in this country. The virus is not just the coronavirus and COVID-19, it's hatred. It's discrimination. And that hatred is the virus. It's a virus that is starting to infect this society, first with acts of vandalism against Asian American businesses and graffiti, and then physical attacks against our elderly and especially women, and now killing. That's why we have to stand strong and loud against all forms of hatred. Whether that hatred and discrimination is aimed at African Americans, Latinos, or Asian Americans, hatred is wrong regardless of who the target is. You know, so many of those who are espousing this hatred are saying to people, go back to your home country. Go back to where you're from. Well, for most of us, we're from America. Indeed, except for the Native Americans, we're all foreigners. Whether our ancestors came from the Mayflower, on a slave ship from Africa, or on a steamer from Asia, we are all foreigners, whether first generation or 10th generation. And it is that diversity of people, wave after wave of newcomers to this country from all lands around the world in search of freedom, hope, and opportunity that has made our country great. It's that diversity of language, of culture, religion, customs, architecture, arts, and food, thinking. That's what makes America so special. That's why we're the most innovative country in the world. That's why we have that entrepreneurial spirit. And therefore, this anti-immigrant, anti-people of color has got to stop. The people, what really makes America great, what really makes America great is our diversity, and we need to celebrate it. So it's great to have all of you here. But let us remember, today it's against Asian Americans, but it was always been that way. In 1866, the Chinese were rounded up in Seattle and shipped away. And there were riots against the Chinese in Olympia and in Tacoma. In the late 1800s, the United States passed a law that said that Chinese immigrants could not come into the United States. And that law was not changed until 1943. In the 1920s, this state of Washington and many states passed a law that said Japanese and Chinese could not own land. And then in the 1940s, here in Bellevue, the Japanese residents, many of them farmers, on this piece of property and all around us, were rounded up and sent into concentration camps during World War II. Even though their sons, the young men of Japanese ancestry born in the United States, were fighting in World War II on behalf of America. Asian Americans and people of all colors have given their blood, sweat, and tears for this country, even though they face discrimination at home. And why? Because they believed in the future of America. We are not a perfect country, but at least we admit our faults and we try to do better. And now we all need to do better and stand up against hate, whether it's aimed at Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, whether it's aimed against Muslims, whether it's aimed against African Americans or Latinos, anybody. We have to stand up against hate. Hate is the virus. Hate is the virus. Hate is the virus. Hate is the virus. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Another one round of applause for the governor. Thank you. It is my honor also to introduce somebody that's very important to all of us, because she's kind of the landlord of this park in a way, because she's the mayor of Bellevue. And she's been extremely gracious with her comments and her time on the subject. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Lynn Robinson.
Thank you. I invite my council, our city manager, our police chief, and any staff that are here today to come stand with me, please. Because we stand with you. We stand together, and we do not approve of any hate against any group. And today we are here to support our Asian American community. Bellevue welcomes the world. Our diversity is our strength. We embrace that concept. It's really, you know, Bellevue is one of the most diverse cities in the state of Washington. And we're so proud of that. And it's what makes Bellevue a great place to live and work and to spend a day. I'm really proud of my city. I'm so proud of all of you for coming out in the rain to stand up and support our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Somebody who's been responsible for trade in this great county and state of ours, of course with Asia, is Sam Cho, who's the Commissioner of the Port of Seattle. Sam, are you here? I'd like to welcome him, and he'd like to say a few words.
My name is Sam Cho, and I'm the Commissioner at the Port of Seattle. But today, I'm not here as a Port Commissioner. I'm not here as an elected official. I'm not here as a politician. I'm here as a proud son of immigrants, as a product of this community, and a proud Asian American. We are all here to take a stand and say, enough is enough. We are here to say that this community will no longer tolerate attacks, the bigotry, the racism, the xenophobia that this community has faced for so many decades in the history of this country over the past years. We're here to say that if you attack our women, we will stand up and we will fight back. If you attack our elders, we will stand up and fight back. If you attack anyone in our community, we will stand up and we will fight back. When I say stand up, you say fight back. Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Martin Luther King Jr. once said that the arc of the world universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And let it be known that this community will stand and fight for justice. We will stand up and we will fight back. Thank you.
Sam, thank you. Another person who you likely know, who is one of the longest serving members of not just this council, but any council that I know of, is the Honorable Conrad Lee. Conrad?
Well, how are you? I am a man of a few words, so I won't say too much. And I just want to make a great compliment. I'm okay, thank you. To Governor Locke. I mean, he has said so much that we all feel about, we all share. So there's not much to add to what he said. But I do want to make a few comments. And you know that I'm not wearing the mask. I am. But I've already got my 2 shots, my second shot. So you know how old I am. So I'm safe. Yeah, but anyway, so hi everyone, I'm glad to be here. What the turnout, that's amazing. You know, I've been on the city council for almost 28 years. Often the lone voice of the unheard. The lone face of the unseen. But tonight, I'm really gratified and happy to see so many more faces and so many more voices. Right? Especially our young people. Later on, I know there's a young person who's going to speak to us. She is Amanda Lee. She's on the Bellevue Youth Link Council. So our hope is in our future, is in our young people. And you, all of you. I was the first and only elected ethnic minority council member and mayor for a long time. Bellevue had less than 10% minority population then. Now it's over 50%. More than 30% are Asian and growing. There are now 3 ethnic minority council members on the council. And I believe all 3 of us here. So let's give us all a hand. We are here tonight to denounce crime and hate crime. Because hate, as Governor said, is especially toxic and harmful. As individuals, we cannot sit by. We must oppose them. Affected, elected officials like us, we have the duty and responsibility to make our cities safe. I'm proud of our police, led by Chief Mylat, that keep our cities safe. Chief Mylat, our police. As an Asian American, I'm personally troubled by the anti-Asian racial sentiment and hate crime against Asians. I want to be safe, feel safe, no matter what city I'm in, and visit my friends and businesses, whether it's Seattle, San Francisco, or Atlanta. I denounce hate crime, no matter where, when, and by whom. We all oppose crime, because they threaten our lives and properties. We choose to live in Bellevue because it's safe. Therefore, I'm glad to be here with all of you to take a stand in unity with all our friends and fellow Americans, no matter what sex, age, race, color, or creed, to work together to keep our city and our nation safe. Thank you for showing up. God bless and good night.
I'm asked to speak. I think about our youth that give me courage to speak out and make sure that we're silent no more. Because at the end of the day, our youth are watching us. What are we telling them by our actions? That we as Asian Americans are going to be silent? No! So, right when we come together, every time, our kids are watching. So are we saying that hate is a virus? That Asian Americans are Americans? And that we will not be defined by the decades of rhetoric and messaging about who we should be and that perpetual foreigner that former Governor Locke talked about. Because you know, at the end of the day, our children deserve much more than that. And I think that by looking at this crowd today, I believe that we are unstoppable. The fact that it's pouring down rain and some of us have been out here for several hours means that we are unstoppable and that we are not going to be silent anymore. And I believe that what we need to be saying is that Asians matter. Our contributions matter. Our culture matters. Right? We have just as much right to be American, to be proud of who we are, our names, our culture, our heritage, and that hate absolutely is not acceptable, but it's not enough. So earlier I said we set the bar way too low if all we're saying is don't hurt us. What we need to say is don't hurt us, but recognize us, see all the contributions, see our innovations. See the fact that we have just as much rights to be here for justice and equality and to belong, and that every single day we are showing up even when our voices are being silenced. So from now on, we need to be proud, we need to speak up. Anytime someone tries to victimize us, they try to scapegoat us, and they try to harm us. And together we can do this. I believe that united, even in the pouring down rain, we are safe, that we are silent no more, and that united, we will claim our rightful place in America. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. How many of you guys?
Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. It is unconscionable that people still feel in this day and age that it's okay to take another person's life or harass another person based on their race, or ethnicity. That is not acceptable. It's not acceptable in Atlanta. It's not acceptable anywhere else in this country or this society, and it's definitely not acceptable here in Bellevue. So I want to thank all of you for being out here, because in this rain and this weather, it shows your commitment to the change that needs to happen in our society and the part that you're going to play in it. Is that right? Awesome. It also is a testament to the lives of the victims of the shooting. There is no boundary when it comes to hate and discrimination, when it comes to race or ethnicity or gender. And our unity should not know any boundaries as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee. And he'd like to say a few words to all of us. Please welcome.
Thank you. My name, as he said, is Derek Pittman, and I'm a member of the American Jewish Committee with Seattle's board, and a proud Jew. And I'm here to stand in solidarity with our Asian American and Pacific Islander friends and neighbors. Any attack against people of Asian descent is unconscionable, whether it's physical or verbal, online or off, quiet or loud. The Jewish community will not stand idly by and watch bigotry unfold. An attack against any minority community is an attack against us all. We will condemn it where we see it, and we will stand shoulder to shoulder with our neighbors in the face of it. There's no question that the events that unfolded over the past year and those of this past week in Atlanta are acts of bigotry, domestic terrorism, and hate. AJC Seattle has been proud to speak out against Asian American bigotry and discrimination since the early days of the coronavirus pandemic, and we will continue to do so. In the Pacific Northwest, our communities are interwoven, that is without question. Our children share the same classrooms. Our elderly share the same nursing homes. When one of us is made a target, we all suffer. No person, regardless of what they look like, where they come from, how they worship, who they love, should be marginalized or victimized. Those who wish to traffic in hate seek to divide us, and we refuse to let them. Thank you, and it's an honor.
Amanda Lee. Come on over, Amanda Lee. She is a senior at Bellevue High School and a future leader of America, I think, right? Yes! I'm going to hand the microphone over to Amanda. Here you go.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi. Getting weather it is, right? All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Lee. I am an Asian American youth within the city of Bellevue, and I just want to start off by acknowledging the 8 victims who died in the Atlanta shooting. The 3,800 Asian Americans victims of hate incidences that have been reported over the past year. And the Asian and Asian American victims of hate incidences that have gone unreported. Most of these victims being women, our elderly, and youth like myself. I will acknowledge that I do not have a way with words, hence why I have them written on a piece of paper. But when I first found out about the Atlanta shooting, I lost any eloquence for conversation that I did have. If asked to describe my feelings about the hate crimes, I would only be able to use simple words to describe complex feelings of grief and anger. I am horrified. I am scared. I am tired. I am angry. And I can only imagine how the families and friends of the victims feel. My heart goes out to you all. As an Asian American myself, I was born in the United States, This is my country, the home of my family and the kind and supportive communities that I have been a part of and care deeply about. So this past year, reading news headlines about racially charged hate crimes has left me with a feeling of betrayal clawing at my insides and sitting as a lump in my throat that I and many others have been trying to swallow in hopes that it will disappear. How could the America that I have grown up in be the same one that allows hate and racism to flourish? In reality, we have woken up to the problems within our society that have been overlooked. Hate and discrimination, whether it is in the form of racism, sexism, homophobia, and more, exists, and it is time we stop excusing it. The problem is, we could see these incidences coming. For the past year, fear of COVID has provided an outlet to anti-Asian hate incidences. Everyday rhetoric highlights the target on our community's back. Despite the stories that we have heard, the images of our bruised elderly that we have seen, the videos of our youth getting bullied, change has not been made. And it has escalated to the point where we are losing lives to shootings for people to finally pay attention. It is time we use our words to encourage others to express their discomfort as well. I am tired, and I know that this feeling is something that my peers and youth across the country have been feeling. But I will not be put to sleep. This is the tired that feels action. Action for change. In Bellevue, I want us to learn what we are doing to increase resources for survivors and their families. Intervention and prevention-based programs. Resolutions that condemn hate and advocate for more. But something that we can all do is spark dialogue and conversation so that these incidences are never forgotten and never happen again. And that action is hard. I myself had mixed feelings about coming and speaking today, questioning what I could contribute to the conversation, why I am qualified to speak out, what I can do as a high schooler. But I wanted to come and speak because, while I'm not the most eloquent speaker, words have power. Seeing a face rather than text on a screen has power. Learning people's stories through conversation has power. It is time we break the culture of not speaking out, because it's only then when we'll see change. Everyone, stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate!
Please join me in welcoming Edwin Ong. He's a student and another future leader of America. Edwin?
First of all, who else is standing out here? It's not pouring anymore, but it's gonna. Who else is out here in the pouring rain with me? That's what I'm saying. That will be relevant in a second. First of all, I'm Edwin Ong. I'm a college student from Seattle, Washington. I'm not, on the youth council. I'm not an elected official. Just some Asian kid from Seattle. But first, I want to say, no matter who you are, you can show up. And that's what we are all here today to do. You don't have to come out here in the rain to show up. There's many ways to do so. Just when you see any racism, any hatred, any bigotry, speak up! Speak up! That's all you have to do. Speak up! There's a lot of hate, a lot of snide, racist jokes that go under the radar. That's not okay. And that encourages this culture that we are trying to prevent in America that normalizes hatred. I want to say hatred and bigotry against anyone is not okay. It's not okay against us Asians. It's not okay against black people. It's not okay against brown people. It's not okay against disabled people. It's not okay against anyone. And I I want to say, if you're here and you're showing up and you're speaking out, you belong in America and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Speak up. Thank you, everyone.
Edwin, thank you.
On behalf of the United Chinese Americans of Washington, I would like to thank everyone for showing up, for coming in the rain to mourn the victims of a senseless killing in Atlanta, and to come together to show up, stand up, and speak up against hatred towards Asian Americans. We don't stand this. We want to show up, and everyone needs to speak up. I hope this event is just the beginning of us coming together with other minority groups in the future to fight for the justice, fight for our civil liberty and the civil rights. Today, I would like to thank all the VIPs dignitary Bellevue City Council to show up with us. And I would like to thank the following organizations for co-sponsoring today's event. Huazhong University of Science and Technology, Alumni Association of Seattle, Greater Seattle Chinese Chamber of Commerce, Ethnic Chamber of Commerce Coalition, Korean American Chamber of Commerce in Washington State, American Jewish Committee, Amazon Chinese American Association, Washington Association of Chinese American Physicians. Thank you for the doctors to be here. Seattle Long Group. I also would like to thank all the members of organizing committees for your hard work to make this happen. I would like to thank Y.B. Chen, Martha Lee, Qiong Chen, Bruce Yin, Ryan Xu, Jiang Pengyu, Xiaodong Lin, Tao Li, and Cindy Chen. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the volunteers to be here to provide your service and to us to make this event successful. Without the organizations and the volunteers, we just could not do it. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a safe trip home. Thank you.
Can we get a big round of applause for everyone that has spoken up here today? I'll leave you with this one last note. It is not up to them to create the change that we want to make a better life for ourselves. It is incumbent upon each of you to take today as a marker in our life, in our time in history, that enough is enough. We will stand up, we will fight back, and we are going to change the course of
Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Decimate the virus! No mercy to virus! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Decimate the virus! Decimate the virus! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Decimate the virus! Decimate the virus! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Decimate the virus! Decimate the virus! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Decimate the virus! Decimate the virus! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Decimate the virus! Decimate the virus! Stop Asian hate! 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 Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate!
小圆，我知道你，但是拿到我手好远。
Stop Asian hate! 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 Stop Asian hate!
老师这边来吧。
你给他们当，因为不然的话，他们就说对他们来讲没有生存和后续，那他都简单。这个
你好。
Stop
小迪，小迪。Stop Asian hate! Stop 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 Asian hate! Stop
Let's join the walk for peace. Stop Asian hate! Stop Asian hate!
I'm trying to get a call. Stop Asian hate! Stop the Asian hate! Stop Asian hate! Stop the Asian hate!
What do we want? Justice! What do we want? Now!
We had some beautiful weather from like 1 p.m. until like
I'm not worried about that.
啊，行，我现在在跟一个问题，我在。
First and foremost, to look out and see this crowd, kind of what's your reaction to it? How does it make you feel? Here showing its solidarity and support towards the ACI community. When you look at some of the things happening around the country, obviously you can't anticipate, but how does it make you feel?
Hello everyone, thank you for coming. Do we have mommies here? Do we have kids here? Do we have someone, you got some older people at your home? Do we have some men, women, old people, kids, and they are killed in the past year? I'm a working mom. I got 2 young kids. I came from China 9 years ago. This is the place I'm living right now. If someone tell me go back to your country, I can. But how about my kids? How about the Asian Americans? Where should they go? This is their home country for Asian American, okay? In the past year, we have been suffering 2 pandemics. One, COVID-19. The other one, Asian hate. And we are scared to stepping out of our homes, not just because of the virus, but also the hate. What should we do? I would urge you, if you're lucky like me, didn't get attacked, didn't get killed, speak up. If you have any experience, you feel disrespect, and someone talk over you with racism language, and whoever make you feel like you need to cover your identity. If you even make your makeup look like less Asian, if you are stop decorating your house for Lunar New Year, we call those all coverings because you don't want to get targeted as Asian. Stop killing us. Stop attacking us. And stop Asian hate. 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 Since we are all living here, this is our home right now. We are protecting ourselves, protecting our next generation, protecting our Asian American friends, protecting all the immigrants from other countries. Stop racism! Stop racism! Stop racism! Stop racism! And last but not least, I don't want someone in other community when they say, I'm not racist. That's not enough. I want you to be anti-racist. Anti-racist. We need to be anti-racist. Racism is wrong. With that, I would like to urge you guys to speak up. Talk to your manager, talk to your friends, talk to other communities. What we are suffering right now is not just attacking but killing. It's also for how many years we've been suffering, and we're doing the coverings. We are part of America too. Asian America is America. Thank you for coming. My name is Shanae. I'm here representing the Korean American Chamber of Commerce. I'm also the artistic director at Morningstar Korean Culture. Morningstar Korean Cultural Center. I'm so encouraged to see all of you here. We're here to say that there's no room for hate, no room for racism. But I look around and I realize that there's no need to fear, because together we stand together and we can stand against fear. As we stand together, we can demonstrate that we will support our businesses, that we can celebrate our cultural diversity, and show that we are no longer statistically insignificant. Let us really stand together and help people realize that we are not invisible, we are not silent. Thank you.
I'm so glad to see so many of us here. I am a Chinese American. came to the States when I was 10, and I will tell you this. We have set the bar way too low. Come on. Is it about calling out the hate? No. It's about what the first student said, which is, we are American. We should be honored, proud to be American, with our full identity, not to fit into some model minority, not to fit into who society thinks we should be, right? So here's a question I have for you. How many of you are using your given Asian name? How many of you have felt the need to take on an American name to fit in? Yeah, there you go. Well, to me, justice is when all of us can show up as our true selves and be accepted and welcomed and belong in this community. Bellevue on Monday made a proclamation standing against anti-Asian hate. But I want every one of you to find that proclamation. It is translated into multiple languages, but the main thing it talks about is the fact that it is not enough for us to be a diverse community, for us to be an inclusive community. We have to be a community where Asians feel like we belong. This is our home. Who's with me? Right? So to me, the bar is way too low if what we're saying is don't harm us, don't hurt us, don't commit violence against us. That is way too low. Come on. Every one of us should be speaking out and sharing about our culture, our heritage, be proud of our name, even if it's hard to pronounce for Americans in this country. And let's claim this country as our own, because we have been here for generations. And yet, for so many generations, we have been treated as that foreigner where when something happens, there's always some reason why we did something wrong. So I'm outraged. Are you outraged? Yes. And why are we so outraged? Because in Atlanta, what we saw was that there was an establishment that was trying to blame the victim for why the perpetrator murdered them. That is unacceptable, because ultimately the system creates the kind of racism, xenophobia, and misogyny that created the kind of hate and violence against our community. And what we should be asking for is way more than just telling people not to harm us. We need to make sure that we're celebrating all of the amazing heritage and culture that makes us proud Asian Americans. Right? And what we want to do is we want to ask all our elected officials to raise our voice, raise our stories, make sure that our identities don't get erased as a model minority, which is such a myth. And I know we can do it. You know why? Look around. Here's all the people united that are going to make sure that our voices are lifted up, that we're not going to be erased, and we are not just one Chinese or Korean or Vietnamese or Japanese community. We're united as Asians, and in Bellevue, we belong. Thank you for being here.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming out today. My name is Will Chung. I myself am a first generation immigrant. I'm a proud American. So today we gather here. So what after today? What are we going to do? First, what we're doing here today is speaking up. So I want to encourage you. When you go back to your home, go back to your work, go back to your company, you want to stand up and speak up when you experience or witness racism, discrimination, no matter is your co-worker, whoever is discriminated, grandmas on the street. I want to encourage you, speak up and stand up like what you do today. And secondly, I want you to participate. I want you to engage. We are Americans. We are Asian Americans. We come here as immigrants, just like any other Americans, African Americans, European Americans. We came here, we get involved, we participate in the civic engagement. You don't have to run for public office. You can run for school board. You can run for your community non-profit. You can get involved. Let your voice heard. And number three, I want to encourage you to participate in political engagement. I am running for Edmond City Council, and I want you to support me. I want to engage you or your children to step up and get engaged. It's only when you get engaged, when you contribute, and you treat yourself like Americans, then you are truly an American. So another thing, I want you to see yourself as Americans. You are Asian Americans. I often hear people say, oh, you are Chinese. Are you a Chinese? Or you are Americans? Or are you Koreans? Or are you from Africa? No, we are all Americans. We are Americans. No matter you are European Americans, Chinese Americans, Korean Americans, just come to the realization that we are Americans. And if we band together, we can do great things. Together we will.
Yes. I stand with you in solidarity. I'm the Mayor of Bellevue, I'm Lynn Robinson, and I and the entire Bellevue City Council, our City Manager, our Chief of Police, our City staff, we all stand with you in solidarity against this crime against our AAPI community. You know, the Bellevue City Council vision statement, I know we've said it a million times, but we can't say it enough. Bellevue welcomes the world, our diversity is our strength. And we use those words to guide us with everything that we do in all our decision making and the work that we do. Each of us has the power and personal responsibility to prevent the spread of misinformation, condemn hateful and discriminatory acts, support fellow community members, and report all forms of slurs, stigma, hate, and bias. Together, we can keep Bellevue a safe, welcoming, and inclusive place for everyone. Thank you for coming out today.